Hey guys, it's your boy, Shiny Volk here. Figured I'd make a new video, just do a video of me playing Combat League and talking about this and that. And I am going to make some dedicated videos later on because there's obviously some stuff we need to talk about. Unfortunately, I think one thing, and I'm going to make a video dedicated to this topic, but I'm going to bring it up right now. Unfortunately, I think we got to accept the fact that this is probably the state the game is in right now is probably what we're being left with. And I'm saying that mostly based off how we're looking at them being for sale. You know, NRS is part of the game division for WB, and they're for sale, obviously, with everyone else. So, unfortunately, I don't think we can count on, like, a final patch or anything. I have a feeling that NRS has probably been instructed to stop all support for the game altogether. I hope that's not the case, obviously, but it's kind of looking like it. You know, there's been no communication of any kind or anything, too, regarding that, so... I'd be curious to hear what you guys think, if you guys think that that's what the deal is, but I kind of think, unfortunately, this is it for the game. Which is really unfortunate, obviously. You know, I've been a defender of this game from at least a gameplay standpoint. I mean, I'm not going to debate the obvious points like how the game launched or the game's early balance issues and how bad they make the game look.
Bro,
and
shut the fuck up.
NRS's behavior in general. I'm not going to talk about that. But what I am going to talk about is I do want to talk about gameplay though, because I am one of the people who actually likes this game. I like the way it plays, right? Like when it comes to the core of the game, I like that about it. And I don't really understand, like, there are some people who they act like this game, like, took their dog out back and shot it. Just some, like, delusional levels of salt for no reason, really. And it's funny to me because whenever it comes to actually criticizing the gameplay of this game, everyone who has anything critical to say about the game is
no one gives a fuck about your opinion, bro. It's in your mic.
So, like, when it comes to, how do I put it? When it comes to that, it's like, I don't really know what to say. But I can't say this, is like, no one wants to debate me on a podcast or whatever. Like, no one wants to actually debate me about the merits of the actual gameplay of the game itself. And I think that's because a lot of these people know, like, as much as they want to relive their glory days of feeling like they were, like, half decent during MK11, the fact is, like, as far as the viability of the game competitively, it's just so obvious how much better this game is compared to like MK11 or MKX. It's so obvious. I'm really hoping that they learn the proper lessons from this game, and I really need to hope that NRS is not taking like feedback from the wrong parts of the community, because I be legit here when I say I think over half of the things that the community had to say about this game from a gameplay standpoint came from a place of being a scrub at best and being a delusional, what's the term I want to use? Actually, no, I think it's all, I think it's not that there's not legitimate criticisms to be made about the game, by the way. I'm not saying that. There's definitely some things with the game, mostly like meta or like balance stuff. But even that stuff is nowhere near as bad as like some of the constant critics of the game would have you believe. Like, And that's my problem, and that's why, like, it annoys me. I can't get people to actually talk about the gameplay. Because the people who have criticized this game's gameplay are straight up just lying to you. Like, they either lie to you, or when you press them enough for information, you'll end up finding out they haven't played the game in like 9 months or some shit like that. It's always one of those two things. I have yet to run into anybody who plays this game actively, knows like what the high levels, like what's top tier is top tier, etc. Like people who actually know ball with this game. It's just weird to me that like none of the MK1 critics are people who actually know anything about the game. Hold on, this guy's like salting out. He's mad I'm like playing with my mic on or some shit. Because I think this game, from a neutral standpoint, from a like depth
you won't shut the fuck up, bro. You yapping non-fucking stop to who? Shut up, bro. Turn your mic off.
This guy's like salting out for no reason, sorry. Anyway, I'm hoping... Yeah, I'm just gonna let this guy have it. He's lagging like crazy anyway. That's my main issue, is most of the criticisms of the gameplay of this game are so disingenuous, misinformed, or just outright dishonest that it really irks me. And like I said, I can't get anybody to actually debate me about the gameplay of the game. Why? Because most of these people know that they wouldn't be able to hold their own in a debate about the gameplay of the game from a competitive standpoint. Now, like I said, the game has problems, as any fighting game has problems. But, man, when it comes to this game, like, I don't know, people are just really, how do I want to put this? They're like, really up their own asses.
Just how many
I think. I mean, I'll have to think about it a little bit too, because that's just where I'm at. I don't think a lot of the criticisms of this game are worth listening to when it comes to gameplay. Like, you're never gonna hear me defend NRS on like the launch of the game, which sucked, and like some of the early balance metas and everything, but they did really start to get a grip on and start to get an idea of what they wanted the game to play like, right? And that's another thing, and maybe this is more up to like subjectivity, right? But like, for example, a common criticism I see people make about this game is they say that NRS did not know what they wanted this game to be. Or, like, they make that criticism about character designs. They say that, like, NRS did not know how they wanted certain characters to play. And, like, maybe at the very beginning of this game that was true, right? But that's like the farthest thing from true now. There may be character designs that are like poorly thought out, that, you know, if we were getting one more patch, I would have hoped they wouldn't have been looked at, but we're not, right? So, but I don't know what people mean when they say that, because I can look at every single character in this game and I can tell you what NRS wants them to do and how they were meant to accomplish that gameplay goal. Like, it's just obvious to me. This idea that there are characters that don't have a design that works or is cohesive is just straight up incorrect. And you either have... like, it can only come, in my opinion, from a place of ignorance, or you're just that heated that the game didn't pan out the way you want it to. That's all I can think of. So, it's like with my character Smoke, right? Most Smoke players, I will straight up say it, are brain-dead stupid people. They don't understand how fighting games work because they're NRS-only players, right? So they can't understand, like, why a character like Smoke, why would be good for a good balance decision for him to have, like, all the gaps he has and shit like that. Even though anyone else from any other fighting game community would be able to tell you plain as day that it makes perfect sense for him to have the pros and cons that he does, right? Character can literally kill you in 2 touches off of almost any situation, right? And it like doesn't make sense to you that he may need some drawbacks when he's the only character, by the way, in the game that can realistically do that too. That's the important thing. He can realistically 2-shot you off of even like the most basic decision. And some of the games, like top tiers they're mixing, can't do that, right? But they'll tell you that he's like an incomplete design and that like NRS doesn't know how to design Smoke, and like it's just stupid. It's so stupid. The fact that I have to like share a character with mouth breathers like that really drives me crazy. I gotta be honest with you. It makes me a bit annoyed. Especially because if you look at like what the Smoked players besides me have wanted for this character, almost all of them, all they know how to say is like make his 50-50 better. Right? Like the most boring shit ever imaginable. But it's like really, you can't come up with anything like more. You can't come up with anything more original than that. You know, I don't know. It's just frustrating. It's very frustrating. It's also like, to me, it's like the people who say the cameo system is a failure or it has a problem with like redundant cameos. I don't think that's true either. I mean, obviously there are some cameos that are definitely underwhelming. But you could do some pretty cool changes to them to make them viable and make them stand out in a way that they don't necessarily replace another cameo on the roster. It's really not that hard to balance the cameo system. And I think people who say that are people who, like, their mentality against the mechanic was just slanted from the very beginning. Like, they were just determined that they weren't going to like cameos no matter what NRS did with them. I think you have to admit, come on, you guys have to admit, there are 100% people who they just had it out for this game as soon as they found out about cameos. They didn't like the idea of a tag game to start with, and then after that was, you know, addressed, and it was a tag game, it turned out it was going to be variations, then they immediately, you know, shifted the goalposts to their next, like, dishonest criticism around the game. But yeah, that's been my main thing, I think, the entire saga of this game has just been that. I just really dislike the dishonesty with which the people who are critics of the game have, like, voiced their criticisms, or how they've had basically nothing of actual value to say. And that's another problem with this game too that we've had, right? Is too many people who, like, they just want to bitch and they have no solutions, right? Like, if you're gonna be in this community, the least you can do is actually contribute something, right? But they don't. They just want to complain. Like, how do I put this? And that's also the problem, right? So here's the thing. So like, I believe like Mike Hollow, while I think his criticisms of MK1 when he made content about it were a little bit like misinformed, I believe that Mike Hollow was like actually like serious, right? I do believe that. But to me, there are so many content creators though who, like, you could tell they had no solutions for the game. It's just that, like, here's the problem, right? So let's say you're talking to somebody, and let's say they have a negative opinion about this game, right? And you want to know what their criticisms are, and all they give you are the same slop opinions that like every other content creator that's involved with NRS in any way has had, right? It's just drone behavior. All they're doing is repeating talking points, and when you ask them to come up with solutions, they either don't have any solutions, like this is like the bitch made move that they always do, is they always say, it's not my job to balance the game. That's the developer's job, right? Well, no. Like, I do not think personally, like, this may be a bit of a hot take because it goes against what some people would call consumer-friendly practices. I think if you don't have any actual criticism or vision for what the game should be doing, I think you should shut the fuck up. I don't think you are entitled to have an opinion, or to even express it if it's not going to be something useful. You're just taking up air. You're taking up air, and you're contributing to the stupefying of the scene at large. If that's all you want. Like, I guess the problem is, this is how I would put it, right? It doesn't matter if they're not making money off of it via YouTube or whatever. There are people who you can tell, like there's a like guy DG all the way, right? Or DJ all the way. That guy has no opinions of his own. All he does is he wants to feed off the dopamine of being agreed with en masse by making rage bait content. Like, that's all that guy does. I don't think that guy has a actual sincere bone in his body when it comes to, like, when he complains about Tekken, for example. I just don't think so. I don't think there's any sincerity there whatsoever. So that's the thing, right? So when some of these guys tell you, oh, well, I have no reason to, I don't make money, I don't have an incentive to be negative, but yes, you do. You want the dopamine hit from being agreed with and being perceived as, like, being a smart person. That's what it actually is about. It's not about, how do I put this? It's not about the money necessarily. It's like the feeling of approval, right? So that's why I don't care about when people say, "Oh, I don't make money off this." The money's not the point. I know it's not the point. Now, it might be a side effect, right? You might get something off of it, and that can't be discredited either. Like, I don't care what anybody says. Like, especially here in the US, things are only going down the shitter more and more. People are going to take that $15 they can make a month off of doing YouTube content that feeds to the rage algorithm. They are going to do that. Don't let anybody tell you that that's not worth something. They're lying to you if they say so. But I do think a lot of it does come down to it is also about people wanting to, they want to feel like they're on the right side of history, right? So they toe the line with whatever gets views, what gets attention. So to me, that's partially it. I'm wondering if anyone who comments, like, if you're watching this video right now, I would be curious what you think about what I'm saying here. Do you think that there's merit to what I'm saying here about people who will just make content just to get the like I said, the dopamine hit of being agreed with because they have like the majority opinion, you know? They're not like, yeah, you get what I'm saying. It's like more of a thing about acceptance and like ego stroking, I think. It has nothing to do with whether or not they're like monetarily benefiting necessarily. Wow. Now, as far as what I'm gonna do with the channel, I don't know. Considering what we're looking at here, you know, in general, like if it wasn't for the fact that I already have been playing this game and therefore knew how to play it at a high level and could enjoy it like right off the rip, I probably wouldn't be playing any fighting games right now, to tell you the truth. I'm just not into them a whole lot much anymore, at least this year so far. I mean, I had a lot of fun with playing this and Street Fighter 6 and a little bit of Tekken 8, but it's been a combination of factors that have just kind of, I don't know, kind of killed my initial passion. A lot of it has to do with community stuff. Tekken 8, I want to play Tekken 8 so bad, man, but the scene kills my interest in that game. The state of the community is just so god-awful that it's like, I don't want to be a part of that. Street Fighter, I love Street Fighter 6. I personally think Street Fighter 6 is the best game of the modern generation right now. I think it's the top one.
Turn your fucking mic off, bro. No one wants to hear you yap.
It's just, I don't want to, how do I put it? I don't want to, I don't want to, I'm trying to think of how to put this. But I guess it's just, I'm just not into it enough. I'm just not into it enough to want to like grind it hardcore. As a matter of fact, I just don't want to grind anything hardcore. I don't talk about my personal life hardly at all on this channel. But like things have just not been going well for me in the slightest. And it's kind of all added up in a way where it's like I just don't care at all about things like fighting games. Whenever I have free time that I want to just indulge in video games, which is like a part of my life that I love to death, I'm more interested in other shit. I want to play JRPGs or like maybe play a Souls-like or something. I'm just more interested in things that aren't fighting games at the moment. And now I would like to just do content about whatever I'm interested in any given point in time. But I know that would be a hard sell for a lot of people. A lot of people are only subscribed to this channel because they like to hear me, you know, talk about fighting games, and they want to hear my opinions on them, which is all well and good. Like, I understand that, obviously. What? I got anti-air by that? That's crazy. But yeah, and once you've like a lot of people don't understand this if you're not in content creation or haven't tried it. The minute that you deviate outside what your channel has become known for, supposedly, it's just impossible to get out of that. That's why people often have to start like a new channel, and that's why I would have to do right now if I wanted to do content about what I give a shit about right now. I would have to start a whole new channel for it. Which sucks, right? And I don't know, because like, it's hard to put this in a way that doesn't sound pretentious, but it's like, I don't know how to explain this, but I would say most people who are part of the fighting game community, I would say most of those people are not what I would call like actual gamers. And what I mean by that is, when I think gamers, I mean people who are like kind of like into everything all over the place, or at least like you like 5 or 6 subgenres on average or something like that. Something like that, right? The problem is, most fighting game players only play fighting games, right? And I'm not saying that is a bad thing, but it means it's almost impossible to like do anything with the audience. Like it makes it impossible to do any kind of like content migration, right? Meaning like, obviously, like I start making content about something entirely different than fighting games, and my audience would like follow, right? It's extremely near impossible to do that. So that's like something that also has to be thought about as well. Now I do have a second channel that I've been flirting with the idea, because like JRPGs are like my big jam, one of my big jams. Besides like fighting games, JRPGs are big for me. And I really fell back in love with the style of game when I got into the Trail series. And that's kind of all I want to talk about and give a shit about now. But not only do most people... Yeah, this guy can fuck himself. Not only do people, for the most part, not like JRPGs in general, because they're complicated games, right? Like, not only are they essentially playable fantasy novels that deal in concepts that are a lot more complicated narratively than what most people are used to, they tend to be more complicated gameplay-wise than even a lot of Western RPGs by far. Like, Western RPGs are more about freedom, I guess you could say, like freedom and kind of a toy box, sandbox approach, whereas Japanese RPGs are more about like system mastery and learning how to build characters. And it's not that there isn't room for player expression in those games too, but it's a different kind of player expression, I think. So that's, yeah, that's also kind of a problem. So that's where I'm at. Like, I don't really want to be playing fighting games right now, except for this, which I do on occasion. But like I said, if it wasn't for the fact that I already had 2K hours in this game, K plus hours, I would not be playing this game either. It's just the fact that I don't have to learn this game that makes me get on and play it still. But even then, I'm mostly tired of this game for the most part. Like, the game's dead, not really concerned about getting good at it from, like, competitive standpoint. As you can see, I'm just, like, quitting matches and getting sick of while I'm talking here. Like, I don't have a desire. I don't even have a desire to grind. Like, I honestly somewhat wonder if I wouldn't have been better served in becoming an Injustice 2 Necro. But, like, I actually would have to buy the game again. I actually owned Injustice physically. I know it's like a crazy concept. And I sold my copy of the game like shortly after MK11 came out. So the thing is, I would have to. Why does he get a free combo breaker? What I'm dealing with right here is one of the reasons why I don't want to play this game much anymore either. Like, this character is such an abomination of design. Look at that. It's a free combo breaker while getting access to, like, a moveset that's better than his vanilla one. It's so stupid. Anyway. Yeah, it's not that, like, there isn't legitimate criticisms of MK1, but no one wants to have any real conversations about the game. They just want to farm the approval of their fellow, like, rage content merchants. Yeah, fuck you, scrub character.
It's a simple game.
Fight.
And, it's also the fact that, like, the community, for whatever reason, right, like, unfortunately, a lot of the community of these games, I'm kind of on the outs, or they just don't like me. I think a lot of it has to do with, like, I just don't fit in culturally, right? Like, I'm like a metalhead, and my gaming taste is, like, so divorced from the average, like, so I have very few actual friends in the NRS scene, like, who I can count on, who actually fuck with me. There's Tom, there's N2 Dave, there's Tweety, and like a couple of others, but that's kind of it. And otherwise, like, the Steam just doesn't like me. I don't really know what to do with that, you know. I'm certainly not in the mood to, like, change myself to fit in more. Especially because, you know, I just don't have the highest opinion of the scene anyway, to begin with. I just don't. Like, I think a lot of the NRS scene is full of, like, I'm not gonna say there are people who are losers, but, like, I understand now why people think that the NRS scene is full of weirdos, though, that's for sure. The NRS scene is definitely full of weirdos. And the crazy part is that people like me will get labeled as the weirdos. When you've got, like, a deviant stance, right? Like just cringe, obsessive, weird fandom communities. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at, what's going on. I am gonna make some videos. Though, about this game, because I would like to make some tech videos and stuff for, like, the people who will be left behind, the people who may still stick to playing this game, or maybe they pick up this game now and they just want to play Smoke and they want to know what the good shit is. So I will do that, but, like, I don't know, unless something happens, as far as, like, either for some reason I just randomly re-inspired to grind this game and play in the online tournaments and stuff, or how else do I want to put it, or like a patch happens or something. I'm kind of burnt out for the moment. It's just how it is. And I wish I wasn't burnt out, because, like, I was very into this game. I was. You know, obviously there were criticisms of it to make that were very legitimate. And I also made those criticisms, right? No one can accuse me of having been a shill for this game. I've never once like downplay the actual issues of this game when the topic has come up. But the problem is we had an environment where you couldn't be positive at all about this game. And there'll probably be people who will try to tell you that like that's bullshit and that there's a toxic positivity problem. There's never been toxic positivity when it comes to this game, bro. All I've ever known is how shitty MK1 is as a game. That's all I've ever heard ever since the game came out, week 1 to now. I literally do not know anyone who's actually positive about this game. I don't know anybody. So, and that's what I mean, by the way, when I'm talking about like people who talk about shills. Like, I don't know who those shills are, bro. Point them out to me, please. Like, give me their names and tell me what a shill of MK1 is to you, bro. Now, there's like NRS shills. I get that. But like, I don't know the last time I ever heard anybody that wasn't me say anything positive about this game. Maybe Mr. Aquaman a couple of times here and there. But even Mr. Aquaman has also criticized the game. I think that's part. I will say, part of the problem for me may also just be that it's like I'm just tired of the way the dishonesty around the game, and it's killed a lot of my enthusiasm. Because yeah, I mean,
That was overdue.
how am I supposed to be passionate about a game where no one wants to actually talk about the things that matter with it? People want to straight up lie and be dishonest about the actual quality of the game itself, which is definitely a thing that's been happening, man. I mean, once again, the amount of just straight up lying people have done about this game is crazy to me. It's just insane. Yeah, I don't know, man. But I'm certainly like, I'm certainly not happy about it, that's for sure. I would like to know what you guys think, though. Like, yeah, I just I'm tired of I'm tired of the way this community deals with like we're not like Tekken 8 toxic, but we're close. We're pretty close. Yeah, at least don't get rid of the fatal blow. Yeah, we're close, though, to being like Tekken 8 levels toxic. I just don't like it. It's old. Now, obviously things are kind of low in the NRS community in general, because, like, obviously we see the situation right now that's going on with the Legacy Collection. And, like, there's nothing that can be really said about that isn't already obvious, right? Like, yeah, well, like, that shit is a dumpster fire. Now, problem is, I don't have much to commentate about that, because, like, I'm not a classic MK guy. I'm not an MK guy to begin with. And that's a thing that I think a lot of people forget about me, is that, like, I've never been an NRS guy. I just happen to fit in this scene because these games, the first to get rolled back when I lived in a part of the country that had such shitty internet that, like, like I couldn't play online at all, bros. You guys don't understand. Like Injustice 2 was the first time I got to actually enjoy a fighting game online to any degree whatsoever all of my life, and I'm 36. Like you guys have no idea what I've lived with or under in my life. So yeah, like I don't know what to say about it. I guess I'm running out of things to talk about for the most part. Like, I mean, I suppose I can talk a little bit more about what can I talk about? Bitch, stupid fuck, die. I guess I could talk a little bit about like what I'm gonna do as far as future content for like smoke mains. I kind of want to do some tips and tricks videos. I think probably gonna categorize them by cameo. Like I'll do a general video, tips and tricks video, and then I'll start doing it by cameo after that. And hopefully I will show some stuff off to people who may not know, like they happen to come across my channel. I am probably here soon, despite what I just said, talking about doing a content transition. I am gonna start trying to upload some JRPG character build guides and videos and just see how it goes. If the viewership doesn't pan out, or if it just has the opposite effect, then I'll just start working on the other channel. And if any of you want to know what that other channel is, just let me know in the comments and I'll link it. But if I have to go the route of having that second channel, that is all we're doing. It's just JRPG content. It has nothing to do with fighting games or anything. If I continue to do fighting game content, it's going to be here on this channel. It's always going to be under Cherry Bulk, I think. Obviously, I'll cred staff I need to at some point. But yeah, otherwise, I don't have the patience anymore. Like, I'm working, but I'm busting my ass for literally $7.25 an hour. I live in a poor part of the country, and like things are just not going well. And like, if I was getting something out of fighting games, like maybe I'd be more enthusiastic. But like, I have to protect my. I'm sure people know what I mean. I am in one of those times of my life in which I have to absolutely prioritize protecting my peace in the moment. It just is what it is. You know, like, I'm not saying that, like, I'm entitled to anybody's help or anything, but, like, this stopped becoming, like, the channel stopped being viable for me to, like, dedicate myself to when I just couldn't even get, like, a subscriber base up on Twitch or anything. Unfortunately, this channel had to be making some kind of money. It didn't even have to make a lot. It could have even been, like, $20 a month or something. But since it was making nothing, that's also another thing, is, like, there are things I would rather do if I'm not going to make money. Now, I am considering starting to advertise my videos, like, for people to donate to me on PayPal and stuff, so that I can continue to, like, really make content. But that's what it would have to be, man. Like, I hate to put it like that. I would need monetary support to justify making content on fighting games right now. Because if we're talking about what I naturally have a passion for, this is not it right now. It's just not the thing for me. But however, I will probably talk about that, or I will link payment options in the comments for anyone who you've liked my content, enjoyed it over the years, and maybe you feel like dropping $1 or $2 and helping me out. I'm gonna do that, but yeah, I'm not gonna beg for money or ask for it. I know the times are hard right now for everybody, but that's just kind of what it is right now. Like I can't even justify. I can't justify like grinding on this channel for any reason. Wow. And that sucks too. I really wanted to do something with like FGC content creation, but like feels like I decided to do it at just the wrong time, in a sense. It really feels like, I don't know if it's the esports bubble, but it definitely feels like I came in at the time of the it's like a timing of like wrong game combined with a bubble of some kind bursting. I think we can obviously agree, right, that like especially if you were an NRS player, MK1 killed so much of the scene and killed so much interest in the IP. Still to this day, like this game, in my opinion, if you want to talk about the things that are wrong with it, the funny thing is, I think all the things that are wrong with this game are that it's still paying for the sins of MK1. This game's biggest problem are the MK1 isms in it that still are here. Maybe I'll make a video about that. But that's like the biggest problem. The game has too much MK1 DNA in it still. And like, on one hand, I appreciate that because that gave them a basis to work off of, right? It's obvious that, like, this is the closest NRS has come to like doing something legacy-ish where they built off a previous foundation, right? But the problem is the foundation was MK1, the worst modern fighter of all time ever made. I still believe that. You will never get me to change my mind on this. MK1, it's like, it killed our scene. And the damage has just never been recovered from. And I don't know that this game could have ever been actually good enough to undo the damage. Like, the best chance that this game had will be to bring in new players. That's all I can think of. Like, we had so many people that did not come back because of MK1 to begin with, right? So this game's sales were already hit by following up the worst modern fighter of the modern generation. And then, on top of that, this game had a horrible launch meta. Like, bro, the fact that Raiden Cyrax was allowed to go on longer than a week is crazy. The fact that it took almost half a year to patch that is embarrassing. And like, and that's something you can criticize NRS for sure, by the way, right? Just like make the point that like I'm not a shill here for the company of the game. The fact that that meta was allowed to exist for longer than a week is like, if you ever needed like any reason to lose faith in NRS as a developer, that should have been it right there. I hate saying that, right? Because I did like the game. I stuck with it. I have almost 3K hours in it according to PSN. But it's true, man. Like, the fact the game was allowed to exist in that state was terrible. But the problem is, this is the thing that people will never do for some reason is people do never want to hold the community accountable for anything. They want to put all the blame on NRS, but the problem is, I remember the people who were defending the Cyrax Raiden meta, saying people just had to adapt, and who cares how bad it looked. Like, the community is half and half to blame for MK1's launch. There were people that defended the way the gameplay at the time, and it was fucking embarrassing, dude. Like, and what drives me more nuts, it goes back to my point about people who just, like, make content to piggyback off of, like, trends. That is 100% what happened with this game. Like, listen, the same people, I know, I remember this, the same people that were telling you that if you nerf Cyrax Raiden in any way, that they would be literally a dead character and a dead cameo and no one would ever use them again. The same people that were saying that when the game launched are the same people that formed content off the back of the game's corpse about how terrible the game was, and now they're willing to say, oh yeah, and the game was also awful. They'll say it now when it's, like, beneficial for them, or they can feel good about themselves getting, like, social media approval. They'll do it now, but they didn't want to do it before. And that's also embarrassing and shameful, and it's a big part of the reason why I'm kind of out. Like, and tired of it, you know? I'm tired of, like, guys like Tom getting fucking character assassinated, while certain other people are allowed to not only make content about the game, but they're allowed to completely flip-flop on their takes about the game with the changing tides, and no one says anything. Like, what the fuck are we doing here, bro? Like, that does annoy me. I do want to get that out there. It like, really pisses me off that's even the thing that, you know, had to be dealt with. Like, I was really hoping our community would do better with this game, because, I mean, dude, it became so obvious. It became so obvious that, like how bad MK11 was, right? It took top players and top personalities so long to catch on to the things that me and other people were already saying about the game when it launched, that I have to believe it was, like, done from a point of, like, straight dishonesty. Like, that's all I can think of. Like, these were people that just never gave a shit about the game, about the community, about anything. And, yeah, that's definitely one thing for me that, like, really killed my enthusiasm. Like, it's all so cynical with NRS games to me now. Dude, how is he... Alright, I'm done. Yeah, I think I get off. I have to get off this game now. I'm tired of fighting all these dumb top tier characters now. But yeah, that's where I'm at. That's how I feel. I would really like some comments and stuff from you guys. I like to know how you guys are all feeling. But yeah, it's sad what's happened with this game, what's happened with NRS. I hope they are sold to somebody that will let them have more freedom and not force them to churn out slop. MK, especially after the Legacy Collection, the MK IP cannot produce any more slop. It just cannot. And if the next MK game is slop, that's it for the IP. Well, thanks for sitting here for this long ramble. I am going to leave my Cash App and PayPal info in the description in case anyone is willing to help donate. I am having a really hard time of it right now, guys. Like I said, that's part of why I haven't been here. But thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening to me. I still plan to stick around and make content and all that stuff, but yeah, it's a rough time to be an NRS player right now. It's a rough time. I'll catch you guys later. Have a good one.